is also one of our active PLF ambassador and the product manager at Qualys. He would introduce the panelists to you. Over to you, Amit. Thank you.
Thanks, Rohit. Good morning, all. Hope you are all having a good time here. I'm Vinay Gadi. I'm a product manager with Qualys, and it's my pleasure to introduce our panel today. We have Amit Bakore. He's the director of product management with Qualys. I have pleasure working with him, along with him on a couple of initiatives, and he is thorough planner. He looks for clarity. He brings in around 2 decades of experience. He's worked with companies like IBM, Oracle, Veritas, Amdocs, Synergy, and he has been part of many B2B and B2C success stories like Quick Office exit with Google, Cloud on exit with Dropbox, and he has authored some of the books as well. He has a couple of certifications to his credit, and Amit, we welcome you on behalf of PLF here. Next, we have Sachin Gulhane. He's the director of product management at NICE, our title sponsor today. Sachin also brings in 2 decades of experience in digital transformation, product management, banking, and payments. Sachin has led large-scale modernization initiatives across his organization. He is known for his strategic vision, analytical depth, and ability to inspire teams. Sachin, we welcome you on behalf of PLF here. Next, we have Rituraj Patil. He is the director and head of Technology, Media, and Telecom Industry Solutions Group at Zensar Technologies. He leads this sector for APAC, EMEA, and NA regions. He brings vast experience in product management, product development, lean agile leadership, R&D, and consulting. He has worked previously with companies like HelloFresh in Germany, Mauritech, Rockwell Automation, Tetra Pak, Atos, ADP, and with Cognizant in India, Sweden, and Italy. One of the fascinating aspects about him is he has published book Mastering Advanced Scrum. He's also writing a book on AI product management, and he holds 8 patents in innovation and R&D. So please big round of applause for him. Next we have Rohit Virmani. He's AVP of Product Management with Icertis. He's a leading voice in bringing agentic AI to enterprise world with 2 decades of experience in building scalable platforms, APIs, and AI-driven products. He specializes turning complex business problems into simple, repeatable solutions. He is first principles thinker and who designs high-trust, enterprise-grade AI agents that drive real outcomes for his Fortune 500 customers. So, Rohit, happy to have you here. Next, I would like to also introduce our moderator today. Our moderator is Prashant. He is Senior Specialist Product Manager with NICE. He has been associated with PLF, working hard to put into place. He's a wonderful person to work with. He's a product leader with 18 years of experience in SaaS, CCaaS, and payments industry. He's delivered 120 million plus business impact across global platforms. His work spans AI conversational intelligence, secure payment workflows, and event-driven architectures. So I welcome Prashant on behalf of PLF to this session, and now I hand it over to Prashant for further proceedings.
Thanks, So how's the Josh? That low, right? So let's keep it up. I know we are in between your lunch and things, so try to hold for a little while. What we'll do is we did good amount of planning as well in terms of how the structure going to be, but we're going to change that considering the time that we left. We'll try to open up more for a Q&A. I know there were a lot of folks who said, "अरे हम लोग सब लोग ने पैसा दिया है, तो हमको सबको पूछना है." तो ठीक है, we'll try to keep it up. More and more questions we'll try to take it up. Basic structure we'll try to cover. So overall, the way we're gonna talk about and try. If you have any relevant question around those structures, you can ask in between as well, so that all the speakers can chime in and share their views on that. So the structure would be more on the mindset. Definitely, a lot of people have talked in the morning itself in all sessions, and then we'll jump to the overall exactly real work that PM does it, how AI gonna help there, and from there we may move to PLC, to hiring, to transitions. But please don't ask any question related to how much AI PM gonna get it. But yeah, maybe over a lunch or later you can have a one-on-one conversation and ask that. So we'll start. So we'll start with the mindset, and then probably Amit, maybe I'll ask that question. Definitely everyone talked about overall what mindset that they need to do, that change, that shift that they need to do. In the age of AI, very specific one pointer that you have, that this is what it will help them to sort of stay active in this AI world, or the way where it's going.
Sure, great. I probably would say that if anyone in this room probably has not gone through the phase, or even as of today has not experienced the fact that I am afraid of AI, I think they are probably lying to themselves. Okay? But I will just reassure you, which I actually did. Very simple. Actually, human landed on moon in July 1969, and there was no AI then, so called. Okay, so if you feel afraid of AI, just reassure yourself that without AI, world was perfectly fine, even in extraterrestrial space. So my point is that very simple. Don't forget that you are being hired, and even doing your job today with your core strengths of orthodox product management. AI is just one of the tools in your toolkit. Use it effectively. I'm not saying don't use it. Use it effectively, but don't get scared. That would be simple. That's all.
So one point which I probably little disagree with Amit. Sorry for that. So instead of being afraid of AI, I guess in the world where we live, in the technological world, we need to see it as a partner, collaborator, any new technology, not just AI. So instead of getting scared or being afraid, it's time to embrace the new technology, which is AI. So the way I would see it is work with AI as a co-pilot, as your partner, as a collaborator, and make things which work beautifully jointly with AI. That's how, not just for the AI. I mean, somebody in the other session talk about internet. We have seen that era. I work in a bank. I have seen the digitalization era in the bank as well. There's nothing to scare. I mean, the job profile would change. The technology will redefine our profiles, but not taking away our jobs. So there is no reason to scare.
Yeah, so I would like to begin with a Sanskrit Subhashit, and that is act in today's times, in this AI disruption era. It goes like Ashwam Nevam, Gajam Neva, Vyagram Neva. Yeah, you know it? Yeah. Chanaivacha, Ajaputram Balim Dadhya, Yojakat, sorry. Ajaputram Balim Dadhya, Devo Durbalagata. Thanks. So, some of us who still have their belongings into the rural parts of India, right? I come from a tier 2 city called as Kolhapur, and I still have my paternal belongings there. So my uncles, they take care of our farms, and there is a ritual which happens once in a year where they have a Gram Devat, right? The deity of the village. We don't see a tiger, a horse, or an elephant getting sacrificed there. We always get to see a poor, weak lamb who is getting sacrificed. So we need to ask this question to all of us internally. Are we those poor, weak lambs, or are we those lions and horses and elephants? And in this era, learning is something which can be done on tip of your fingers. I don't even want to go to replits and wine crumbs and V0 by Versals and co-pilots and lovables, right? Last month only, there was a broken Power BI dashboard which got handed over to me because the developer was off sick. And then I took help of simple ChatGPT prompt engineering meta prompts within 1 hour with another senior developer sitting besides me. I was doing some basic vibe coding. I don't even know what vibe coding is, but the amount of responses I could get through ChatGPT, it simply redirected me to some of the Streamlit Python libraries, and I could fix that dashboard within 1 hour. And forget about fixing the dashboard. I could create a brand new web app within just 1 hour. So are we limiting ourselves? Are we restricting ourselves to get ourselves exposed to the way at which the technology is moving, right? The AI disruption era, what we talk about. I would recommend that AI Dilemma documentary on YouTube, which has been created by the Steve Wozniaks and his team. You should go through it. The amount, pace, time, speed at which things are growing, especially when it comes to the world of AI, right? Previously, it used to be rule-based systems, right? Then we came into machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, and these days everyone is talking about agentic AI. Okay, and this particular disruption, which is making today's world more of a Bani world rather than calling it as a VUCA world, brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible, right? So that is where the world is moving, and that if we are those poor weak lambs, I don't know whether we will be able to survive or not. There is another analogy to the same equation which is being given by Andrew Ng and deep learning AI. They say that there will be more jobs, right? You love singing, you do it more. You love cooking, you do it more. You love swimming, you do it more. You love coding, if you love vibe coding, if you love certain things which are going to act like a tool, the way Amit was saying, there will be more opportunities, there will be more digital transformations, and then the roles might be different. And that's the reason I'm writing that AI product management thing as a book, or maybe, I don't know how much time it is going to take, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to it as an author side of things.
Right. Yeah. It's a very interesting perspective. So if you go through the evolution, right, the evolution of the technology and human beings, right? So first, the industrial revolution or the agri revolution when it came, that time machines were the first things that got developed, right? So people felt like plower, like a manual plow. From that, you go to a tractor-based or kind of steam-based engines to pull that things out. So in that evolution, there was a lot of upheaval that people felt, oh, my job is the best what machine can do, right? But machine transformed, and as Rituraj mentioned, jobs got changed, right? So today the yield is increasing per acre because you have the farm instruments, right? Now then the whole problem of kind of IT or your innovation in technology came in, where people said that, oh, internet is going to change everything for us. It did. So what I'm saying is always believe in fundamental principles, that there is a law called as Amara's law. What this Amara's law says is, in short term, you overestimate the impact of technology, but in long run, you underestimate the impact of technology. So that is the case with AI. Right now, when I talk to businesses, okay, all the C-suites, they are having over expectation. I work in agentic AI, right? So their problem statement comes in, hey, I want to kind of trim the workforce. I have this kind of requirement, optimize it. Now the problem there is, it's not the workflow optimization or people optimization that is the outcome of agent. It is the process optimization. So in your life as a product manager, you need to think, what is the process optimization I can do to improve my life? All right. So it's not about being scared, not scared. You need to be scared or kind of have a learning mindset. I'd say scared is the wrong word. It's all about having the learning mindset. So your whole build cycle is going to change, right? So now today you do your discovery, design, test, and deploy, right? That is going to change with AI, and it is changing for me and my company here. So I'll tell you one more story later on. how I am using AI in the overall equation, right? But you need to understand, collaborate, and then kind of calibrate and redeploy and learn is the option that is the new AI world. So don't kind of think that it is not going to change you. It is going to change you. McKinsey 2025 report is out yesterday. If you read it, product management is one of the key functions that is getting a major change with the impact of AI. So, yeah.
Wonderful. So one thing that common which is coming out as a theme is A, B, C, D, D. You guys know A, B, C, D like anybody can dance, but I think what I see is anybody can develop and deploy. That's why probably what I see like just develop and deploy. So being one of the PM as well, what is happening is nowadays we are using AI for more of a efficiency improvement, right? Writing better PRDs, possibly writing even appraisal review. Just I don't know myself better. AI judge me and help me writing all that. But now give me very specific numbers, specific saying that okay, in your organizations or even somewhere else, you did this much investment, and this is the output. Why output or why whatever you save? Is there anything that you have it? Because this is where we are a CEO of the company or a product that we are managing. And is there any experience that you would like to share now? What you did implement?
So there is very interesting survey done. So I will answer your question. But before that, so I work with my Icertis. Most of our customers are financial institutions, banks, right? And there was a survey done to find out how many banks globally are thinking about using AI. It was very, and as expected, almost 95% plus banks said that they want to use it. Next question was very interesting. How many of them believe that the POCs or the work or prototype which is happening will last more than 2 years? Right? And 60 to 70% of those POCs prototype banks believe that they will not see 2 years plus. So it is moving with the pace, as you rightly said. There are a lot of exploration, right? There are a lot of things which banks want to try. Business want to push bank to do more. Banks as in technology to do more with the AI. But when it comes to AI and why those will not last probably more than 2 years is a return on investment. There are few factors about the AI, which is for me, and if I quote Shakti Kanta Das of RBI Governor, he said the opacity of AI that's making it difficult for banks to adopt. I'm typically talking from the bank's perspective, right? So I can't assign AI, even if it's capable of doing the credit decisioning completely because of the opacity associated with it. Now, so there are questions around opacity, there are questions about explainability, there are questions about biases, hallucination. The biggest question for me is about the ROI. Are we investing enough? And are we getting, not investing, there's not investment happening, but are we getting the enough return on investment? Or are we doing those things just for the market or testing the water, right? No one wants to miss the bus of AI. Now from our perspective, right, there are a few solutions which we launch of enabling AI, right? Those are where we see the productivity from the feature perspective, right? So the agents which for us, the alerts get generated. Anybody understand that? Business. Fraud and AML alerts get generated, the banks user will see the alert and decide whether it's a fraud-like case or money laundering-like case. Now, some of those AI-enabled solutions will help to reduce the time taken by agent to process that alert, right? But you will always have, at this point of time, I would say that we will always have human in the loop, which I right? So somebody has to see the alert. So I can't say that my alert would get, because of the AI logic, would get processed in a second. AI has a capability to process maybe millions in a second, but bank cannot afford to let those transactions go. There has to be a human who would verify, validate, review the content produced by AI. So ROI is important aspect which would come into picture when banks are doing it. Now, and the second part is more on the internal stuff. Somebody in the earlier session talked about the productivity, and there are ample use cases. Everybody is tracking those matrices, saying that we have improvement of 87% in the productivity. What are those numbers could be? But for me, it's a both things, right? Internal productivity as well as the features or the value which we deliver to the client. When we talk about AI, we need to consider both aspects.
Great. If you want to add up. Anyone who wants to ask a question?
I can give you a perspective of practicality, what we just got. Alright, so see, ROI, good metrics to measure, but you should look at it from two lenses, your individual and from business perspective. When you look at it from your individual lens, your whole ball play is, am I changing my day-to-day process flow, right? So you're no longer a feature manager. If you think you're a feature manager, then it's a past statement. You're a system designer, right? So your role is changing from being a feature manager to a system designer. So you don't need to write a PRD. You don't need to write a kind of detailed document there. AI can do it better than you. No questions asked there. So if you're just using it for PRD, then it's a very limited use you're doing. You're not doing justice. So when you go in, think of a product manager workflow. Now create your own agents. There are so many platforms for agent creation. Create your daily agent and see how much you can see. Now I'll tell you the story about ROI for myself, and then I'll give you the story of the agents that I'm building right now. So for myself at Icertis, we have a rule. Whatever is the designation does not matter. The higher you go, the more complex feature you have to own, and you have to groom at least one feature. So I, like at a VP level, we have this rule that I personally will groom and deliver a feature, and this has to be end to end, right? So previously the grooming cycles used to be like very cumbersome, like kind of gather, discover, gather, and then process, synthesize, mine, design, and then kind of develop. Now I'm owning, instead of one, I'm owning 3 agents end to end. At my level, I'm owning 3 agents. It's not like my level, I have to do strategic work as well. So along with that, my productivity is seeing super uptake because I don't process information, I synthesize it. Now, in case of AI, when you go in, I don't look at each of the customer tickets. I ask AI to give me the summary of the tickets, what are the top trends that it is observing. So my daily agentic job is to get that customer down. I know exactly the pulse where things are. And as a product manager, that's my job to understand what's happening. So my ROI from my development, from delivering one feature to 3 complex features is the ROI that I'm getting. And these are not features, these are agents, by the way, very complex work. Now coming to business side, when you look at agent transactions or agent interactions, the whole point is you should always use a principle of inversion in your life and in the designs that you make. What is that the agent should not do? Okay, what is that you should not do? The human thinking angle is what the AI world of evolution will look like. So in this case, if you look at contract, like I work in Icertis and Icertis works in contract lifecycle management. Now you have your employment contracts, right? I will receive X salary, my non-disclosure clause are Y, Z, and how that contract is composed is using the legal language, right? So in legal language, if I miss something and that's inaccurate, there is a legal liability risk that comes in. And coming to the point that you were mentioning, the risk is something that defines the agent's behavior. Today, the transaction value is low, so low risk work is getting transferred to the agents. One success story of ROI, I've reduced the drafting time of contract by 30%, which is huge in legal world. One more success story if you want to see, go and read the white paper by GoDaddy and OpenAI. GoDaddy did the transformation of their service and they saved around $15 million doing that transformation. So they invested 2 million, they got 15 million as a return, and this is recurring return. So that way the ROI is significant. But you have to solve the right problem. So as a product manager, your goal is to understand what problem I want to solve and be focused on that.
So with this, you have some homework over the weekend to read some papers, not just newspaper, all the papers that you mentioned, research papers. Any question that you have?
Yeah, hi. My name is Kedar. I lead the product management practice at EWI. So more for you as leaders. We spoke about ROI. Now, most of the times we hear that product managers' primary job is 70% time saying no and ruthless prioritization, right? So to flip this whole AI thing and ask you, how often as leaders do you have to still go back to the basics of outcome-oriented discussion with stakeholders and say no to AI?
Yeah, I can give a recent example. So there was a discussion in my team about dealing with the feature requests, and a bunch of tools were discussed that we can basically mine the data on the feature requests and essentially figure out that how we can make it as a more open platform where it is customer facing. They can vote based on that. We can consider it for the actual roadmap in terms of the implementation. As simple as that. But the point is that when we realize that despite all these things, there is definitely going to be an engineering bandwidth block or constraint at the execution level. Practically, it doesn't make sense that you basically invest so much in like mining your FRs and deal with the data. And most important, at the end of the day, you fundamentally, as you rightly said, that your fundamentals of product management, they actually never change. Tool is definitely will be at your disposal, but you definitely need to look at it from the business constraints point of view. A lot of times there are other non-functional aspects also, for example, performance, security, and likes of that. But short answer is that I just at my level, we always start from the outcome perspective and the business context perspective, and then basically come to the tooling part of it. So that's a short answer.
So now just probably I put the entire journey, right? We are clear, we are clear with the mindset that yes, we have to go with learning AI or not deal with. Then we know that yes, that's helping us to build ROI. Now next thing comes in, like you being hiring manager, if I need to apply, when I say I, it's not only I, but the rest of the folks here, need to apply immediately, possibly in Jan or Feb. What that one thing that you look, which sort of a bright spot within that candidate says that okay, this is what I look for, and I keep you on a higher stack when the maybe 10 or 20 resume that you look. What is that one skill that you want these audience to adopt it within the next 3 to 6 months?
First, to get the employment contract signed up from this company, because that's what I learned now. Yeah, but when I talk about AI, as a product manager, if I talk about only one thing, you need to be, if I just summarize, you need to be AI literate, if not AI expert, right? We don't want, we do obviously like to have the data scientists and all those, but you need to be at least where and how you can use AI in your product feature of engineering. That's the most important aspect, any of us. And it does not mean only certification. For me, if I'm hiring someone, I would like to see if the PM has done any experimentation. Can he talk about the impact of AI in the value delivery? And when I say experimentation, I guess one of my colleague is here. He built the agentic AI platform using an A10 platform. Small one, POC, but by doing that, at least he showed interest. It's not just the certification. So if you are someone who is keen to apply or is keen to hire someone, I would focus more on the experimentation part, how as a PM I can leverage AI, collaborate with AI, and make a joint effort, right? Not just the certification, not just the understanding.
So the thing is, in Zensar, we are building industry solutions group within TMT vertical, which is technology, media, and telecom. And when I look at media as one of the sub verticals, we do have some customers from South Africa, North America, and even UK and EU who are operating into iGaming domain, which is all about gambling, betting, and your slot games, right? So there is a customer where I'm actively hiring for one PM position, and then I'm interviewing PM since last 1 month. I've taken almost 40 interviews. I still couldn't get that one candidate. The customer is being pushy, and then I don't know where I'm going. Okay. The thing is, since TMT falls under high tech, and I come from engineering background, and I'm into engineering programs, products all over. The way I look at it is nothing but the definition of looking into PMs is certainly going to change going forward, right? So all the basic qualities, what we always think of by looking at Sundar Pichai, who was heading Google Chrome product at one given point of time in the past. He always used to talk about problem solving, data-driven decision making, intuition-driven decision making. Sometimes you look at data, sometimes you find intuition overcoming data, sometimes a balance in between both. Common sense making, storytelling, what Niranjan is, by the way, my ex-manager from ADP. he hired me at ADP. So he was talking about storytelling, right? So the way I look at it, these common skills which we always look at while hiring an associate PM, an entry level PM, or even if it is a lateral entry, these dimensions, these traits still remain the same. Even the human angle of things, right? Be it empathy, be it having that systems thinking kind of an approach, what a PM can bring, right? Looking at the bigger picture. Those skills still remain the same. But I don't know how many of you are seeing the recent post which is getting viral on LinkedIn, where Lenny is talking about it, Akash is talking about it, right? That post is all about Samir Sahu, who is one of the AI PMs at Google. There is a screenshot which shows the dashboard of all the shades of green, what he's checking in into GitHub repository every single day since last 2 years. Go and find out that guy on LinkedIn, Samir Sahu. He's the AI PM at Google. So if the trendsetters, we always treat FANG-MANG companies as trendsetters, and the whole world follows them. And since I represent high tech, that is where I found that the candidates whom I'm rejecting, they are not meeting those expectations, maybe. Doing some quick and dirty things, building some prototypes on the go. Okay, you don't understand the code. Okay, you don't know how to refactor it, how to look at it from desirability, viability, scalability, and your AI infusability point of view these days, right? How you are looking at building prototypes faster, sooner, safer, smarter, better, cheaper. That is something which is a common pattern I'm seeing with candidates who are struggling. And the definition of role is also changing a little bit, especially when it comes to high tech. They want to have technical product managers, technical POs, right? That doesn't mean that the traditional product management without using any flavor of AI is going to be wiped off totally. But I could see that there are trends where I could get to see some common reflections across all our customers. Every single customer who is coming to our executive launch, the first question, the opening question, what we get to hear in those leadership conversations is show us the use cases. Don't tell me those use cases. They want to see the working prototypes. Okay. So this is where I would like to put in. Basic skills, they still remain the same, but that data and AI, right, is something where the world is looking into, and that is where I think we have to be on top of things.
Yeah, so gets your hand dirty, not literally, but using AI. Go ahead.
I guess so.
Yes, sorry. This question.
As Rituraj mentioned earlier, like you could build one entire dashboard with the help of a software engineer yourself. So I wanted to ask, like, for a technical PM role, as you mentioned, what skills are required in the AI landscape now? I mean, since I am very new to product management, I'm an associate product lead. So I want to ask, like, what is expected if someone wants to get into the technical field, because I understand code, but I don't code like a coder. So, how would a PM be working in this regard?
So there is a YouTube channel called as Visuera. I don't know how many of you know about this, but there are 3 guys from India who could do their PhDs in MITs and Stanfords, and then they came back to India and then they have started that YouTube channel. They're also, and again, please don't consider it as a marketing or sales gig. I'm not promoting them, but this is where I started my journey to learn something about AI. And if you look at AI big onion picture, most of you might have seen it, right? It has deep learning, neural networks, computer vision, machine learning, reinforcement, based learning, supervised, unsupervised. These are the traditional things. And nowadays we are always thinking about generative AIs and conversational AIs and agentic AIs, right? It's really difficult to digest everything in a single bite. We have to take it bite by bite, right? So data, what you are able to see it there, that is the basis, right? So how you can learn something about data analysis, right? Where you are looking at traditional ETL, okay, and how you can correlate it to the modern data analytics when it comes to data lakes, data warehouses, even data streams and all of that. Then slowly jumping into data engineering, which does the pipeline job, and then slowly getting into the data science. So you ingest the data, you streamline the data, you label the data, you do the data synthesis the way Ankur was saying, right? Let's suppose if it is machine learning, it needs structured labeled data. If it is not there, your models are not going to give you accurate results. And there are ways to measure the outcomes. If I would like to get into the previous question, if you would like to define the success criteria for any machine learning based use case which you would like to implement, you need to look into accuracy, precision, F1 recall, right? There are metrics, right? I don't want to get into the technical things, but there is a wonderful term, they call it as confusion metrics when it comes to machine learning, right? Where you define your prediction on x-axis and you define your expected output on y-axis, and then you put yes, no, true, positive, true, negative, false, negative. Now look at the answer I'm giving it to you right away. I'm talking about machine learning. I know the basics of machine learning. I know what is confusion metrics. I know what is the correlation in between the data and its usage in machine learning. If I go one step on the right side of the AI software development life cycle, this is where you are building your backend. Now you need to have your machine learning model who needs to make use of that data, and if it is like maybe structured labeled data which needs to be used to predict something, there comes regression. If you want to do classification, are we going for supervised versus unsupervised, right? It could be maybe prediction, it could be classification, clustering, right? So that particular use case will decide which flavor of machine learning you need to explore, and tools come later. Tools come late in the game, right? So engineering is always going to be there to take those decisions, but are you finding out the right use cases? Are you looking at the right data? Do you have analysis done? Do you have engineering pipelines in place? Do you have data scientists, the way Sachin was talking about? Are they looking at those patterns? Then comes your machine learning. So I took just one example of machine learning, and then comes your metrics and confusion metrics, how you are able to understand the basics and how you can stitch it to the business problem what you are trying to solve. So if you are into healthcare industry, you can correlate it to the MRI scans and how a machine learning model is going to predict if that person has got infected because of pneumonia, chest scan, right? Now in that case, what becomes tricky is any false positive or any true negative. These are the two use cases where you need human intelligence.
Correct. So which evals to use, that's what you should be good at.
Yeah.
Just one.
Anything else that you want to add?
So get your basics clear. There are ways to learn. I keep on sharing sources from where you can learn. Pick one area, go deep in that area. If you try to explore so many things at one given point of time, you won't be able to get there. Pick one area, understand the basics, look at the big picture, take a step back, learn things. Of course, it will require you to do a little bit of hands-on, okay? Not always. You can easily pair up with, hey, Mr. Engineer, can you sit with me? Can we do a pair programming kind of thing? Can we do a little bit of knowledge sharing where you do the implementation and then I will give you the vision? Let's make it as a combined effort, something like that, at least to begin with. But let me give you one honest thing. I don't know how many of you have seen Devin AI. Have you seen Devin AI? It's one person. which is getting built by Cognition Labs in US. All the people who are building that product, they are not even thinking about product. They are geeky, nerdy, brightest programmers in the world. They are building it. And when I look at that use case, right, from SDLC point of view, typical SDLC point of view, you should go and watch what that Devin AI is capable of, right? So pick one area, go deep, learn, do some hands-on, take some help, find a mentor, and not like someone who talks in the air, who has done things on ground. This is where I really like the way he shared. He owns those 3 agents. It means that he has to be thorough with those 3 agents. Be it technical, functional, non-functional, techno-functional, strategy, outward, inward, all of that. Evidence-based management, the typical framework from scrum.org, what I'm talking about here. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Anything to add on? See, simple equation. He talked so much, so I know he covered the whole spectrum. Yeah, X to Y, Y to Z, all the 3 dimensions he covered. But just keep it simple, right? Keep your life simple. Don't go and kind of go into too much of kind of cloud in your head. You're starting fresh, so take a learning point of view, right? So you're learning something. So every day, make sure that you're learning a new skill, and that skill will help you become better. What that skill is, you have to figure out in your company what are the use cases that are coming. So make sure you are focused on the skill development on a daily basis. So the more you train your mental muscle, it becomes like de facto for you. So just go on that route. Be critical thinker.
Yeah.
That's one thing you should do.
Hello. Yeah. Hello, this is Wayne here. Actually, I wanted to understand about, we are talking about technical product manager and as well as there is a thin line between the business product manager. So because most of the time, there are some business product managers are more keen on about the business. So when you talk about confusion metrics, machine learning and all those things, he say that this is the part of the engineering side, technology side, the people are there, so they work on it. But the product managers from the business, they drive the strategy, they drive the ROI, they think about what exactly the customer point of view. Because I am from John Deere, so John Deere is basically on the tractor business, or it's a sentiment of the customer, right? So they drive those kind of a business, but they have the team to take care of all those machine learning and everything. So in this, being as a business product manager, so what is your suggestion of how he has to be inculcate on all of these pipelines that what you just explained? So can you throw some lights on business product managers, how can they get into this? Thank you.
So 2 aspects, and one which if I talk about as a PM, as a product manager, I'm not talking about technical product manager, he talks about technical product. So as a business product manager, the one thing which has not changed over the years is you are solving a business problem and you are delivering value to the customer, right? That today in the world of AI, so that is not changing, right? So as a PM, my first job is how part comes later, what tools, he's talked rightly, the tools come much later. What is the problem the customer is facing? What is the value my feature is going to be delivered, right? It does not need, you may need AI to do the analysis, right? But that is a problem, that is a question as a business PM you should ask. Then comes the later part, and I agree to certain part of it, that you can't just say that I'm a business PM, I want this, now figure out, engage. So today's PMs are, as I said, AI literate, and I would probably extend it technology literate. Saying that you need to understand what is possible, what is not possible. You may not work on it, but right, you need to be able to figure out where I can use agents, where I can use RPA, where I can use agent workflow, where I can use autonomous agents and so forth. So that level of understanding minimum I am saying as a PM you need to have before you take that back to the engineering, who can then explore, talk a lot on that. Okay? So as a business PM, these are 2 aspects. If I see the profile perspective, right? So it still remain a T-shaped profile where you have a deep product skills, you added domain, data, UX on top of it, right? So that's how I see business PM.
Cool. Anyone?
Okay, so my name is Chaitali Pathak and I'm working as a senior AI product manager with Persistent. We have an in-house homegrown product called Sasva. We are fine-tuning some models and also working on a tool which is nothing but SDLC PDLC assistant. So right from 0 to 1 scale-up approach, you will be having digital assistant soon. So now, I'm seeing a trend in the market. There are some PMs who just leverage the models and algorithm or maybe some sort of AI which is readily available to create the features for their own product areas, right? So for example, if somebody is owning search engine, that team will just create something on top of it which is enabling AI into search engine. So maybe some different logics to search for users, or maybe let's say some application building within your application through prompts, something like that. So these people are like these PMs are consuming readily available AI. Okay, they are also AI PMs, and some PMs who are actually working on fine tuning of the model or how the model should be more efficient or more accurate for the domain use cases wise. These are also AI PM. Okay, so I have done quite a lot of reading around it, like where one should head as a PM if you want to transit between, a generalistic PM to AI PM. So how that transition should be. And there are these two branches which I could see. Are you going to purely work on algorithms, fine-tuning of them, or you're just going to leverage something for your product area, making some features which are user-centric? So what is your thought on it? This is my first question. And second question, I will take it.
Let's complete one question.
Yeah. Maybe I can just quickly comment on that. So, actually, I mean, this is purely like my individual take. So, how I see this. If you look at beneath the surface, where the actual AI implementation comes in, that is one piece of it, where you actually, instead of driving a car, you basically even service your own car. Okay. And something which is above the surface, where AI can be actually applied for your actual business use case. Take a very simple example. Let's say we are essentially thinking about customer centricity. We have a bunch of tools to rapidly prototype. But what I actually see as a good blending, which is required, is nothing wrong to use any AI tool for rapid prototyping. But what is equally important is before you actually prototype, are you effectively doing the discovery properly in terms of the actual customer-centric challenges for which you are really going to craft the so-called prototype? And subsequent to that, are you really going to effectively validate the prototype which you have built? And last but not least, to what extent you can reuse that investment in the prototype to really scale it further? Okay, so let's go one by one. So to shortly like put it, there are lots of attitudinal research methods, there are behavioral research methods where you can use AI. Is let's say I conduct 7 or 10 interviews. Okay, the tool will basically transcript it. It will give me the insights from those transcripts or whatever interviews I have conducted. Now that's where AI is coming handy with you. Okay, you are collaborating with AI, which is very, very brilliant. But at the same time, are you going to really use those insights to create your persona? I probably would say partly, not fully. Okay. Second thing, are you going to really use those insights only for the actual discovery portion, like alone on the AI generated content? No. For example, you might need in certain cases contextual inquiry, in certain cases infographic studies, in certain cases you fundamentally contextualize that persona and how that persona has not only like evolved so far, but going to evolve in the near future. So that's where I believe the human element or the human in the loop element becomes very prominent. So that is just one part of it. Now, when it comes to the validation part of it, it's equally important that you might create a prototype in 2 hours. Okay, bunch of tools are out there. You do prompt engineering, vibe coding, but fundamentally, whatever you have created, are you really going to resonate in terms of your validation for what you have created with your end customer? Okay, simple case of B2B. Okay, where my buyer persona is different than my user persona. Okay, when I'm doing PLG, I'm actually selling it to someone else, whereas my user persona is different. So how would you crack that tough nut with AI? You can't. Okay, why? Very simple. You have to fundamentally, at some places, really go with the basics of the mechanics of so-called product management. And the last piece, So when it really comes to scaling of all your investment, there are challenges with respect to the security. What code has been generated by the tool? Can you really assure that it is secure? Very challenging, because even today it has been used to attack in all possible dimensions of your infrastructure, your applications. Your attack surface has infinite coverage. Okay. Second aspect of it, is it really performing well? Is it super optimized? Whatever code has been automatically generated, obviously it is a challenge. You have to validate that. And last part of it, is it really maintainable? Okay. Today it is AI generated. You have saved time from a longer perspective. Is it really maintainable? So just to summarize the point, how I actually see this, you take any piece from business perspective, whether it comes ROI or in general the serving of the customer interest or the way you run your business. Fundamentally, it is super important that your foundation is not absolutely not going to change. What is actually going to change is you have to decide that where you are going to use a tool and is it really justified. For example, in my entire SDLC, there are 3 pockets where AI tool is available. But the question is how frequently you are going to use that stage of your SDLC, where the AI is going to give you X benefit in terms of time saved, all the resources saved, and whatnot. Is it really justified? And most importantly, the long tail. There will be 100 or 200 of tools in a given area. Now, as an organization, if you latch to something which is in the long tail, that tool itself is not going to survive because of its own business relevance. Okay, because there would not be like sizable market for that tool. So what's going to happen? You're going to only lead or going to leave with just 20% of the top of the tail. The rest of the tail is going to die on its own. So if you're locking yourself in a tool which today looks promising, but it is going to have its own market share challenge, I think there is no point. You're again back to square one. So these aspects they make a lot of difference in terms of going with respect to like balancing that. That's all.
Hey, Chetan, if I get your question right, you wanted to understand these 2 streams, right? One is algorithmic, where you are kind of working on LLMs and you're fine-tuning, you're creating your specialized LLMs, right?
AI native PM.
AI native PM, right? So, and then the second stream is the wrapper AI, right? So, see, again, critical thinking. I know if you are already into machine tuning or the algorithm tuning, then you need to go with your strengths. If your strength is that I'm good at mathematics, this is primary skill that is needed for you to go into the LLM world. Whereas if you're very creative and you understand use cases and your empathy and love is towards solving business problems, then the wrapper AI is the perfect solution for you, because then all the vibes come into the equation. You code vibe, you context vibe, everything comes into that cool part. But if you want to go into granular details where the first principles are chatted, you are going into all the nuances. Because believe me, creating a LLM is very difficult. It's not easy. So you have to choose that battle where you want to go inside. If I have to get your
Yeah,
question.
just wanted
Good.
to open this question up because this
One
topic
question,
was not
short
shared.
question, please. Short question.
No, I was just concluding it that this topic was not at all shared in like all 3 panels. Like there are these 2 branches, and if PM, generalistic PM, want to transit to AI PM role, there are 2 branches to think about.
And Chetan, that's interesting. The point is this first option that you mentioned is very, I don't know, low visibility right now, but it's the highest impact. So you have to decide, as I said, if you play with your strength and you're really good at maths, you understand algorithms, you know how to navigate through it, like PSP is your favorite problem to solve, right? You can do flight planning using AI, then fantastic, that's cool.
Cool. So I got
one last.
No.
This is important. One last. Let me do that.
come back. Good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just one last.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Rituraj. I'm the lead product manager with Amdocs.
Last question.
Rituraj mentioned that some tech geeks are doing product management, and there are newly experienced people in the domain who feel managing Jira backlog is what product managers do. And there was a elaborated LinkedIn post by a CXO who said that old PDM processes are so rigged that he got rid of the whole product management layer, and he's still building it and getting the right value. I would request the panelists to shed some light. What is their view on the relevance of product managers in this whole Gen AI era? Thank you.
In few words. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I got into my mentoring hat when I was listening to the previous session because I keep on mentoring budding product managers. And Top Meta IO founder is my friend Amit. So to answer your question, exciting times are ahead. The ex-CEO of Cisco said about this thing that companies are going to disappear. It's now more about jobs, and I don't want to sound like disheartening you or making you disappointed, but we have to stick to the reality, right? So, the way Amit was saying, right, how we can productionize those things is where it is going to fall back. And I was also talking to you in our previous discussion when we discussed about how many products are getting productionized, only 5%. So are we looking into the remaining 95%? The way you said it, right? Some CXO is making this kind of a statement and making people nervous. Are we really thinking about those 95% of the use cases, the way Sachin was also mentioning about it previously, right? Why they are not getting productionized, right? Gartner's last year's report, it says the maturity and integrity of the data defines the success of any AI initiative. So this is where I think if I can connect the dots, I think the world is moving towards another wave of disruption where I don't know, maybe only the time will answer, but eventually we need to look into those 95% of the use cases which we couldn't convert beyond MVPs, or even forget about MVPs, even simple prototypes. And that is where that PM hat, right, is always going to help you look at it from current value and even missing value thing. It's all about either ROI or cost efficiency. That's how businesses operate. Either they look into ROI to generate more money, the way we get our salaries. Either we can increase our salaries or get better at savings or investments.
Perfect. So with this, we're going to end. So sorry, Chanali.